What are some laws everyone claims they agree should be changed, but no one is making any real effort to do so? Civil asset forfeiture. It is illegal highway robbery where cops can take your stuff, typically cash, without needing proof or charging you of a crime. The department often gets a percentage of the take from the feds. The only way you can get it back is to sue them for it. You'll probably spend more on legal fees than the money they stole. There is a little bit of movement on it in some states, but holy crap, that should never have been allowed in the first place. The Constitution protects us from unreasonable search and seizure, but apparently Congress made the loophole. Marijuana being illegal. I looked it up recently. Results from Pew here. 59 of Americans support full legalization and 30 support medical marijuana. 89 of Americans approve of legalizing it in some capacity. Getting 89 of Americans to agree on literally anything is almost impossible, yet for some reason that 11 has been able to keep it illegal for large portions of the country. Everyone wants a secular democracy system until they start acting truly secular about things and not allowing for any special exemptions. Like damn, being secular isn't inclusive. It's completely removed from any and all iconography associated with religion. Government sans religion. Fair and equal are not synonymous at all times, and you can have your cake and eat it too with this. Either be secular or be inclusive to everyone. In the US? More sensible gun control laws. Some 90 of Americans agree that a mentally ill 18-year-old shouldn't be able to legally buy an assault rifle with a high-capacity magazine, or that violent felons should be able to go to gun shows and buy those same weapons without a background check. But the NRA wields too much influence, like so many other well-funded special interest groups. Money subverts the will of the people. Reforms surrounding service animals and emotional support animals. I know a few people that have actual service animals who absolutely hate people that expect us animals to be treated the same. There should be legal certification for a service animal that can be presented when requested, and there is no reason any animal that is trained as a service animal should not receive that certification. Marijuana. The fact that it is legal in almost all states for medical use, and legal for recreational use in the substantial quantities of others. X200B. But is still a Schedule 1 narcotic at a federal level, and there's been no serious attempt to change this. This borders on dereliction of duty by our elected officials, members of government, especially Congress, using insider information to get rich. Example: Nancy Pelosi, who hasn't had a job outside of politics or government and since the 1960s, is worth $115 million. Bankruptcy laws. Somehow mega rich can declare bankruptcy because they gambled wrong and come out of POTUS, but people who have had to declare bankruptcy because of health issues never recover. It's become a tool of the rich well-off to shed unwanted debt. Prescription medical advertising on television being legal. At best it should be allowed on specific medical stations geared towards doctors or during specific medical shows, maybe a few exceptions for elective procedures here or there. There are still sodomy laws and other anti-gay laws on the books in many US states, not being enforced at the moment. Waiting on another conservative trend to force people into heterosexuality and into living by their beliefs. The Electoral College. I know it's incredibly difficult to get it done, requires 3/4 of House or Senate, but people have been talking about it ever since George W. stole the election. Restrict stock purchases and enforce insider trading laws for any government employee who is involved in enacting policies that will affect companies, primarily Congress. Civil forfeit and filial support laws. Also, where it still exists, lifetime alimony that prevents the payer from retirement. I think if more people were familiar with borrow, buy, die loopholes, we'd have very different views on extreme wealth. Campaign finance reform. The current system is only popular with rich fucks who enjoy their outsized influence on policy. Employment laws in the US are archaic and people don't realize it until they are on the losing end of a situation. Term limits for the assholes in DC. Every single one of them. Stop letting corpses run our lives in our country. American minimum wage laws for tipped employees. Really, American labor laws in general. Silencers on the NFA. Entrapment laws. The bar is set so high entrapment is no longer a defense. Time change. They actually passed it in Senate? And Congress? Maybe reverse wouldn't. This is such a good question. Something I think about all the time. The list is long. Atheists can't hold office according to laws in 7 states, including mine. Teachers should be paid way more and more money for classroom expenses. Civil forfeiture. Charging unhealthy people the same as healthy people for insurance. Drug laws or tax loopholes seem predominant in this conversation. Gaping loopholes that allow lawmakers to accept bribes. Drug reform. Healthcare reform. Congress profiteering.